Hey, so it's 11:49 on March 30th. Um, I think the last time I did this was when I was out on at Ludlow. So maybe a little bit of a quick update here. That following week, I mean that weekend turned out to be great. Um, I think those sunrise pictures and the Milky Way picture that I sent Alma went off really well, and I think that started a really good conversation. Um, we texted pretty regularly back and forth all day, Saturday, and when I was driving home, I did almost step on a rattlesnake when I was coming down that hill from the sunrise picture. Sorry. Um, so that gave us a little more to talk about. Um, and then I took a nap for a while, so I was a little slow on some of my response for a little bit. But I was driving back, and I got to about Cajon, a little before Cajon, like Hesperia, Victorville area. I was getting a little bit tired, and I noticed the mountains. I thought, there's snow up there. It'd be kind of cool to do like the desert beach mountain thing that I've talked about, because I've talked about that to people before and been like, yeah, you can do all three in one day. Like, great thing about Southern California, and I've never actually done it myself until now. So I was like, okay, I'll go up to the mountains. If I time this right, I can get pictures on the mountains and then make it to the beach for sunset. And I could send her both those pictures, which I thought would be kind of a cool idea. Sunrise and sunset pictures, like, get all stages of the day too. Um, so I got off at the 138, drove up towards Silverwood Lake, stopped, got a picture of the lake, kept driving up 138, kind of kept driving up. Once I got on, I think it's the 18 at that point, Mountain Road, and went up to a point where I had some snow and took some pictures there. Didn't come out super great, but I think it made it very clear I was in the mountains. The view was good. But then I flipped around and drove to Huntington Beach, and made it with a couple minutes to spare. We got some real nice pictures of the sunset. Um, I got the pictures of the sunset, and then after the sun had set, I took a couple more pictures, and I think those came out really well too. One of those was one of the ones I sent to Alma, and she loved those pictures, and especially that last one with all the colors in it. Absolutely, like, she seemed to really enjoy it, and she told me that I mean, that kind of sparked this conversation on like her cooking, and showed me what she had made for dinner that night. And um, I don't know if I had responded that night. I think I was already driving home at that point, and then I got home, and it was like I ate something and took a shower, and I had to clean up because I had desert sand, beach sand, melted snow, and ocean water in my shoes. And yeah, I was a mess, but it was a fun day. I was out for like 25 hours. I'd been awake for like 30 something hours. What, 9 a.m. one day until 10, 11 p.m. the next day. But I responded to her in the morning, and like, our text conversation was going pretty well, and it got to a point where it was like, oh, hey, like, did you ever experiment with any of your recipes? She said she used to when she didn't have stuff on hand, and so I had asked if anything was ever better than, when she didn't. And she said, oh, I don't really remember. And I said, well, clearly it didn't. At the moment I sent that, thought nothing of it. And then afterward, when I sent her a link with some of the pictures, I was like, oh crap, I don't see any way that could have come across anything but negative. And so, like, I didn't hear anything for a couple days, and I was worried, and I wanted to just apologize right there, but I was encouraged by some people to hold off a little bit, and so I did, and I waited a couple days, and I sent her a message, just apologizing for that, because I thought that it came across negatively, and she's like, no, 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 you're fine, like, I didn't take it negatively, and so, I mean, we talked a little bit, but, like, our conversation didn't seem to flow as smoothly as before that, which kind of sucked. There was a little bit back and forth. I told her, I think I sent a message either Thursday or Friday, telling her that the wedding had been postponed till August 29th. The wedding I'd asked her to come with me to, which was originally supposed to be like the 27th or something of April. 27, 29, 25, whatever whichever one of those dates is a Saturday of 2020. And so she's like, yeah, I'll let you know when we get closer. And I texted her a little bit over the weekend, and there was some conversation there, but like my last message, we were talking a little bit about like the notebooks that like I've been keeping and the things she's been writing, and I'd sent a response, and I hadn't really gotten anything back. I'll continue with this for right now. Before I got anything back, and then actually no, because I want to talk about that in a minute. We'll come back to that. So I hadn't gotten anything back yesterday. Got nothing today, and was dealing with getting my laptop to work today after I decided to update it, which was a terrible idea. But got it to work. So that was eventually, like literally like 20 minutes ago or something, got it to work. But was having issues with that all day. Like my screen was flickering on and off, and I sent the picture to Gerardo and Nate, because we were all in a chat for a while, and was talking with them, and Nate asked how things were going with her, and I just, I said I hadn't responded, like I hadn't heard anything back from the last one, didn't necessarily want to bug too much, and he's like, just send the video that you just sent us, and like tell her that's how your day is going. And so I was like, okay. And so I sent it to her, and I was like, how's your day going? And she basically said that she was bored at home, and my gut feeling was like, you want to go do something? But I wasn't sure, because this current environment of technically we're supposed to stay at home. I was encouraged by the two of them to just ask anyway, and she was up for it. So I drove out there. I figured, screw it, I'm done with work anyway, I'm not going to accomplish anything. So I drove out there, picked her up, and we hung out for the next like 6 hours and 15 minutes roughly. Went to the beach, Huntington, because LA County beaches are closed, so and the parking lots in Orange County are closed, but we got some street parking and walked. I think it ends up being, I think it was like 6 miles, basically the entire length of Huntington City Beach. I just talked, and it was nice because we got to talk about a lot of stuff that, not just surface level stuff, but kind of got into some deeper stuff, which was really nice, because I think that really, it opens a lot of things up, and it makes it a lot more open. Just going forward, like just anything that we need to talk about, I think that putting that vulnerability out there early makes it easier to follow up with. but that was really nice. Like, it was a nice long walk. We came across a plane that had landed in the parking lot, ran out of fuel, and just landed there, which turned out to be good because there were no people there, so didn't have to worry about hitting anything. But we saw that and we're like, oh, that's interesting, and took some pictures. Um, just overall good walk. And then when we got back, it was got back to the car. It's like, well, you want to get food? Okay, so like we're gonna go get sushi at the aburi, abur. In my mind, I can say it. I had trouble pronouncing it in real life. Clearly, but then when we were driving there, we took PCH down to the 55, and then took that up to the 91. And as we were coming around, she was making a comment about the sun setting, and I throw out like, "Hey, do you want to go up this trail over here?" I had actually mentioned it I hiked it the other day, yesterday actually, and I did it a couple days ago too, and just because I wanted to see if it was clear and not like overgrown or anything, in case I ever got the opportunity to do this. And she was up for it, so we drove over there and hiked up there. She loved the view. She loved the colors of the sun setting. It worked out perfectly that the sun was setting right around that time. But she enjoyed it. It was like a mile walk, and I was kind of glad that she also kind of ran out of breath right around the same spot that I did. So it took a minute to kind of recover. But kept going up the hill, and just it was really nice. Just got to talk a bit, and we walked back down and drove over and got sushi, and we just ate in the car because didn't really have any other choice at that point. But we shared a couple rolls, Pacific roll. There was one with jalapenos, Seeker roll or something like that. And then Dynamite roll. And we started with that one. Then we went on to the sushi, like the salmon. She got a spicy albacore, I think. And then I also had a clam. She really liked that, the whole meal. And it was nice because it was like, we just put this stuff on the center console, sat there and ate and talked. And I think we got to be really open with each other, which was really nice. And she did tell me at one point that there were a lot of things that she had found herself saying, like when we were walking on the beach, that were things she wouldn't normally tell people. And she was thinking that like when she was saying it, but like I really appreciate that she was able to tell me and felt comfortable enough to tell me. So that's really nice to hear. I mean, yeah, I don't want to go into some specifics or a lot of the specifics of some of the stuff, even like from my side, because I think it would hint certain things, and some of that is not my place to say. So I would be open to it, but out of respect for her privacy, like that's going to be something that kind of stays with me. Honestly, like one of the best days though. I very thoroughly enjoyed it. I felt like I really got to open up to her, and she really opened up to me. And she had expressed interest in when I talked about going out and taking pictures of the meteor shower. She's like, "Yeah, I want to, like, do you mind if I join you?" Of course not. Like, yes, please. So really excited about that. I gotta text her when those dates are. And then, she talked about, like, yeah, we need to hang out more outside of work and get to know each other more. Because, like, work, it's real quick and we don't have a lot of time to interact. A couple minutes here and there, it's better than nothing, but it's nothing like getting to hang out outside. So I'm always on board to spend any time I can with her. She's really great, and honestly, today was such a great day. Even if, this doesn't materialize into like something relationship wise, I think like even as a friend, like this, it's a real solid foundation, moving forward. So I'm really excited about that. Fingers crossed. We'll see how it goes. I, I would be like dancing around a little bit more, definitely like, um, but it's really nice. Like I really enjoyed today, and just, I was just walking around, being outside, and like, just, it was nice. It was really nice. Um, I just texted her a couple minutes ago too, before I started this. Here's a link to one of the videos that I found on the plane landing at Huntington, and it was in fact that, the plane had run out of fuel, and I said I really enjoyed today, and I think I said something like I really enjoyed it. I had a blast today, and I'm really looking forward to next time. And she sent something back pretty quick saying that she also enjoyed today, and um, I'm just really happy. The one thing that I was going to address that I had not really addressed, kind of skipped over a little bit, was did make an appointment with a psychologist. No, sorry. Technically, she's a associate licensed marriage and family therapist. But I made an appointment. We had a Skype appointment on Friday, and I felt like, in personal interaction, like face-to-face interaction, may be a little bit different, but at least so far, like the interaction seemed pretty good, and just being able to get some stuff off my mind was really nice. So I think that's really good. Also, I did mention while we were walking, it kind of came up in the natural flow of things too, so that worked out well. That I did tell Alma today that, like in that moment when we were talking on the boat, there was that feeling of like, oh, everyone's watching, and then just all of that went away. Like, and that hasn't happened to me before. So I expressed to her some of that. So overall, really good day. Probably one of the best days so far this year. I may even say a little bit better than the Christmas party. Like we talked a little bit about that. She apologized again for she thought she had spilled something in the car, and she's like, "Oh, I didn't want to make a bigger mess in your car." And I was like, "When have you made a mess in my car?" And she's like, "Well, when," and I was like, "Oh, don't worry about that. That wasn't even really in the car. It's nothing to worry about. As long as you had a good night, like, that was what I cared about." And she's like, I'm still gonna keep apologizing for that. So, but yeah, I'm there's so much stuff that I'm very happy with today. You can probably tell by the smile that's been on my face most of this. It has really been quite fun. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm really excited for what's going to come next. Maybe doing something on the weekend. We'll see. Um, yeah, I'm excited. Fingers crossed. Just in general, like, this is a really nice feeling, by the way, too, that I've not really felt before. So, yeah. I don't know if I have anything else of substance to say. There's probably something that I'm forgetting from today. I definitely don't need to share every detail. Some of that stuff is definitely just going to stay between us. excited. Boop, boop. Anyway, I should probably do some work because I bailed on that to go do this, and it was totally worth it. Even if I got fired tomorrow, totally worth it. Yes, very much so. So, hopefully I have another really good update pretty soon. All right.